Hi, Scott Orlin with CINEMA-Magazin. 100 years ago, Rudyard Kipling wrote a novel, The Jungle Book. 50 years ago, Walt Disney created one of the classic animated films, The Jungle Book. Well, now another filmmaker gets his turn at it, Jon Favreau,
Here I am.
selfishly promoting himself. Let's talk about a little bit, and especially the Disney animated film. There's such an iconic nature to that. As you're creating your own version of this, is there homages? Are there certain templates that you have to kind of be consistent with?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a, it's a dealer's choice here, because you can't just make the whole movie photoreal. It was a G-rated musical, so it would feel a little strange, I think. So you're going to have to make a leap at some point and update it. Here it is 50 years later. But what are the moments that you want to still preserve? And I think, and especially in casting Bill Murray as Baloo, you want the singing. You want some of it. Not enough that it becomes a musical, but you want enough that you're reminded of how you felt when you were young and you saw the other one. You wanted a character like the menacing tiger Shere Khan that Idris Elba plays. You want, I think, the march of the elephants. You want the snake hypnotizing Mowgli in his coils. So there were images and moments I tried to preserve. And once I did that, I wanted to open us up to the freedom of telling the story using today's technology in a story that was more exciting, and I think that spans the ages of people who it might appeal to more than the original. I felt a little bit young for this material.
Now you say about today's technology. I had the distinct pleasure of being on set. And when I say on set, literally it was a blank room with screens around it and maybe a stick or two here and boxes. You go see this movie and you were in the middle of the jungle. I have to commend you because, I mean, even though you did Iron Man and you were familiar with that technology, this is like a step ahead.
It is real cutting edge stuff, and I have to tip my hat to the artists that worked so tirelessly on this thing. There were, I think, a crew of 2,000 if you count everybody from all around the world. You have from India, from the UK, from New Zealand, Los Angeles. So it was a collective of artists who were working together to create a technology that, if it's done right, is invisible. You feel like you're just looking into the jungle. You feel like you're looking at animals who are behaving. You might think we just made their mouths move like in Babe, but honestly, everything you're seeing beyond the kid is completely generated by artists and computers.
And when you see this movie too, I mean, one of the brilliance of it is not only the technology there, but there's a story, there's the heart. And so let's talk a little bit about that, because what I thought was interesting is, when we were asking before about nurture versus nature, about where does this boy belong? Who were you supposed to be brought up with? The people that raised you, or the people where who were your birth parents?
Right. I think that Mowgli certainly only knows of the jungle, and so he feels like he is part of the wolf pack. He loves them. They looked after him. They protected him. His memories of what happened before the jungle, where he was too young, they're latent, deep memories that he only remembers after being hypnotized by Kaa, who reminds him of his story. But the fact of the matter is, his entire emotional memory is of a member of the animal kingdom. And then Shere Khan comes and says, no, you're different, you're a human. Even if you're not bad now, when you turn into a man, which is soon, you're going to be a problem, and you have to get out of here. And so this poor kid is then sent into exile. And the myth of exile from your people and feeling like an outsider is something that's a time-honored myth that goes way back. And I think that in this case, they're trying to fit, the other animals are trying to figure out if they should defend Mowgli as one of their own or send them off because he's different. And that's very fertile ground for storytelling.
And just a last quick question for you. I mean, obviously in this movie, as John had mentioned, Scarlett Johansson, Idris Elba, but this is for Germany, and so there will be different voices. Right. How active are you in deciding what those voices will be in France and Germany and Japan?
They run by me the choices. Disney's very good at this. They've done it for all their animation, so I feel confident. But I also know that for Germany in particular, this particular brand, Jungle Book, is beloved beyond any other territory. As I met people along the way when I was in development and while we're in production and even showing the film, meeting people from Germany, they grew up with a relationship to this film that is beyond, I would say, even beyond what people in the United States feel. For some reason, that was a moment where they connected to this material. And so, in many ways, I feel more of a responsibility to the '67 film and that legacy when it comes to the German territory. And as we cast people, I know that they're connecting with people who have an affinity for it and care about it as much as I do, if not more. So I'm very curious to see how it plays with those voices and how it plays in that part of the world, because I'm certainly expecting for a special relationship with Germany to this film.
Well, congratulations again. Terrific, terrific. And this is Scott Orlin. Until next time.
Thank you.